With your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
See you. Yeah, Bible News Radio, a two-person production producing the quality of 100 staff thingy. Alright, hold on a minute. Yeah, we do. We produce the quality of a 50 staff establishment like Prophecy Watchers. They have a gazillion people doing their work. For me and you, it's me and Bareface, just so you know. Alright, so there it is, people. Alright, go ahead and share it out with your people if you don't mind. That way, you can feel good about yourself because you shared. Okay, so today what we're going to do on the show is we are going to play for you an interview I did earlier today with Rabbi Tuli Weiss from Israel. And if you don't know who Rabbi Tuli is, I will let you know. Thank you for coming in. And it's going to be a good interview. Well, let me give this caveat right up front. First of all, if you're watching the replay, thank you for coming in as well. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching over there. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, go over to youtube.com/Bible News Radio. If you're not following us on Facebook, go to facebook.com/Bible News Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Bible News Radio. Go to BibleNewsRadio.com. And Instagram in particular. Actually, Instagram is where you really need to follow me at Bible News Radio because I update that all the time with little snips of stuff. So make sure that if you want to keep in touch with us, you join our email list at BibleNewsRadio.com. And if you want to become a pillar of the community and help support us, the two-man workshop that we really are, you can donate at BibleNewsRadio.com. Okay, so here is what we did this morning. I got up super early, which is unusual for me, just so you know, so that I could do a live interview, a taped interview with my guest who was in Israel. It was the evening his time, so he actually looks more awake than I do in the interview. But we had a great interview, and we're going to be playing it for you in just a minute. But one thing I want to let you know ahead of time is that he was not expecting to do a video interview, and he was outdoors, and so some of the video is a little garbled. It's a little bit hard to hear him in some places, so just stick in there with us, hang in there, because he actually shared a lot of really cool stuff, and if you can hang in there through some of those little glitches, then you will definitely be blessed. All right, so the other thing I want to share with you is that a couple days ago, we talked to you. Hold on a second. Like I said, we're a two-person show. A couple days ago, we talked to you about this book here, Israel Rising. My guest today actually wrote the introduction to this book. He's an Orthodox Jew, which means he's a Jewish guy he's a Jewish rabbi that doesn't believe Jesus is his Messiah yet. But anyway, he loves Christians, so he came on our show. But he wrote the introduction to Israel Rising, and Doug Hershey, when he was on the show, hold on a second. When he was on the show, he actually mentioned to our audience that if you order his book from his website, IsraelRisingBook.com, that they have a special package. And the special package includes the calendar, which I just received today, which now you can see it's a nice glossy, relatively big calendar. Has a lot of stuff on it, but if you open it up, there has the Torah readings and the New Testament readings over here. I think that's the side it's on over there, and it's just really nice glossy calendar. So this is the calendar if you choose to get the package through IsraelRisingBook.com. You can get it, and here is also the CD, which has 14 songs on it, which I can't play for you, otherwise Facebook will ban me and delete my show. Just so you know. So those are a couple of things. You can get the three things, the calendar, the CD, all that for however much it is over on the website. Okay, so with that said, let's see here. With that said, let me go ahead and refresh my page over here on Facebook and see if we got everything going, because we want to make sure that I can say hi to anybody who might be over there. And meanwhile, I will say hi to some of you in Periscope. Let's see here. I'm trying to get over here. All right. Oops. So if you're in Facebook, you got to say hi to me unless you're a friend of mine and you're following me and liking me on the page. By the way, I had somebody tell me today, I never see your stuff in Facebook. You have to like the page, which is super easy. Bible News Radio. Just like the page. Okay. So let's say hi to Zane and Mia, Diane, Magnus, Dottie, Lydia, and looks like a sex bot. And Thomas, nice to see you guys in there. I hope today's show really does bless you. So a couple of weeks back, I had the blessing of getting sent to me a press release from an online ministry, if you want to call it that, called Israel365.com. So it's Israel, the number 365.com. They have a great bunch of emails that you can sign up for, and they're promoting this book here. It's called the Israel Bible, and this is the Old Testament, and my guest today is the rabbi who edited this book, this Bible. Thule actually comes from Ohio, and he made his way back to Israel with his wife, and he's been living there for 6 years. Anyway, when you get your Israel Bible, the cool thing about it, and we actually talked about this in the interview, is that it opens from right to left, because in it there is Hebrew alongside the English. So you'll be able to see that the columns, there's Hebrew and there's English, and then the footnotes in this are historical, and they're also from a theological perspective, written from an Orthodox Jewish perspective, which is not a Messianic perspective, which is what we always talk about here on our show. Doesn't mean that there isn't any validity to what they say, because there is, which is why I'm promoting it. So yesterday was the celebration of Israel's 70th birthday, and so this was done in conjunction with the 70th year anniversary of Israel, which is super totally cool, just so you know, totally cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll the footage. And like I said, if you just came in, just keep in mind that Tennessee is far from Israel. Just so you know, it's a long distance. And my guest was outdoors, so Randall did his best to try to clean up some of it. But just hang in there, because I asked him about Michelle Bachmann. I asked him what he thought of Israel, thought about Obama. We talked a little bit about Donald Trump. We talked about the Bible. I asked him, we talked about Jesus a little bit near the end of it, and some other stuff. So I hope you take the time to enjoy it. So how long would you say it is, Randall, approximately? I don't know how much you edited it out.
About 28 minutes, almost 29, not much. Didn't take much out.
You didn't take much out. Okay, so this is about a half hour. So like I said, hang in there with the garbly stuff, because it does clear up, and just realize that the internet was what it is. So we did the best we could. All right, go ahead and roll it. All right. Okay, hey everybody. I want to thank you guys for tuning into this special interview. I've actually pre-taped this so that we could air it tonight on our show. And I have a special guest who's here to talk to us about the Israel Bible. I know it looks backwards to you guys. It's because it is. It's because of the camera. But that's okay. I'll be showing it to you outside this interview so you'll see it the right way. Anyway, if you don't know about this Bible or Israel365.com, my guest today is Rabbi Thule Weiss, and he actually is the editor of this brand new Bible, which is super cool. And he's here all the way from Israel to talk to us today about it. And so, Rabbi, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And actually, are you actually in Jerusalem? I forgot to ask you that.
So I'm in Beit Shemesh, which is right outside of Jerusalem.
Okay. So, okay.
Thank you for having me, Stacy.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for coming on. I would love to get your, before we get into your Bible, I want to talk about tell us about what happened yesterday with the Israel celebration, because that was super cool. I watched it online, but were you there or were you in the proximity of what was going on there?
No, I also watched it online, but it was wonderful. It was like a moment of history to be able to even participate online. I know the whole country was so excited and just super appreciative that President Trump is a president who keeps his promises to Israel. And so it's very, very, there's just an air of celebration and throughout the country.
Yeah, I was really touched. You know what I went to Israel one time, and that was about 11 years ago. And the climate there was probably different than when it was through the Obama administration. So just out of curiosity, what was the climate like during the Obama administration, just to give it a comparison?
I think that Israel felt sort of isolated, alone, maybe abandoned by America after so many decades of good relationships. Everybody was nervous that was going in the wrong direction. And there were a lot of times that Israel really felt abandoned by its greatest ally. And now things are totally, totally reversed. I don't think there's ever been an administration more pro-Israel than the Trump administration. And the people that he is surrounding himself are just off the charts. I mean, Vice President Pence, it starts right there. But Nikki Haley is just incredible. And John Bolton, such a long-standing, great friend of the Jewish people. So it's a real new day for American-Israel relationships in particular, and Jewish-Christian relationships in general.
So it was really nice to see yesterday, not only what the media was sharing, but when I was going through the internet looking at all the pro-Trump signs and just the joy of your prime minister and the president, and frankly the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador too, really touched me. And of course, Ivanka and Jared, I think is his name. Isn't that horrible? I can't remember a guy's name. Is that right? Okay, you're back.
The ambassador, David Friedman?
No, not David Friedman, the other guy. Ivanka's husband. What's his name? Jared Kushner?
Oh yeah, Jared Kushner.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, so that's super cool. Okay, so let's talk about you and your story, because I want to hear about your background.
Moved from Ohio to Israel 6 years ago, and I'm originally from Ohio, and my family is still there, but I go back to visit every once in a while, whenever I can. And been living in Israel for the last 6 years. And when I moved here, I started Israel 365, which is a daily email inspirational message that goes out. A lot of good stuff in there. And Israel 365 now goes out to a lot of people, mainly non-Jews, Christian, evangelical, Zionists. Goes out to 300,000 people every day. And so it's a great resource, especially for Christians who love Israel. It's a free newsletter available on our website at Israel365.com.
Amen. Okay, so unfortunately, due to this internet connection, I didn't hear the actual first part of what you had to say. So now you mentioned Orthodox, and then something. I didn't hear what you said that you had.
Oh, God.
You are.
Or I'm an Orthodox rabbi,
Okay.
and it's I don't know where I lost you.
Oh no. Well, I didn't hear that part. So you said you're an Orthodox rabbi. You talked a little bit about you and your wife moving to Israel 6 years ago, and then you mentioned that you have an email list that goes out to 300,000 people. I think that's what I heard you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You got the gist of it.
I did. And you know, people understand on live streaming, sometimes it is what it is, you know. We go with what we can do, you know, as far as the internet.
Right. I didn't realize, I'm sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be a live streaming video, but I'm going to give you a tour of my neighborhood as I get to a place where I have better internet.
Okay, well, that's cool. Okay, so as you do that, everybody, you didn't even know you were getting a tour of Israel here on Bible News Radio. Hey, what is your favorite part in Israel? Just out of curiosity, because I know lots of people have different favorite parts.
I think Jerusalem is the favorite part. Jerusalem is like the spiritual epicenter of the whole world, and it's just such a special place for Jews, for Christians, for Muslims. There's nothing like Jerusalem anywhere on earth.
Yeah, it was my favorite part when I visited. I actually have my Hebrew ring here. You probably can't see it, but it's
yeah, I could.
Yeah, so I got that one. Yeah, it's got some sub scum in it, but but aside from that, it's, you know, my husband and I got it on our 15th wedding anniversary, so that was 11 years ago. So yeah, very cool. Anyway, okay, so tell me more about your Bible, because the first thing I noticed when I got it was it opens up backwards, at least to me, right? I mean, it's the normal way, but you know, it opens up the opposite direction, because I didn't know. I thought it was going to be open the other way, so it's open that way because of how Hebrew's read, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Hebrew goes from right to left, and
I think it's cool. It's my only book I have that does this.
Since God gave it to of a translation, years of translation, and some mistranslations along the way. Actually, oftentimes that's the case. So we offer
me, which is really fascinated by history, and so this is kind of cool. I didn't realize how many pictures you actually have in here, though, on the actual commentary part. So I mean, this clearly took you a long time. How long did it take you to put this together?
About 5 years, and I put together a great staff. We had wonderful scholars working on it for the last 5 years. Again, we have hundreds of study notes, hundreds of pictures, maps. We have all kinds of charts and things that really just highlight the land of Israel throughout every chapter of the Hebrew Bible.
Yeah, I know, it's so cool. I was okay. Now let me ask you this: as far as the order of the books in here, I noticed it's not like in my Bible. Explain the order of the books so I understand it. Oops.
Okay, well, the ordering, like you said, is according to the traditional Jewish understanding. The Hebrew Bible, and you know, even the way that we divide chapters is 99% the same as the Christian, you know, version of the Old Testament, but it's a little bit different. And we explain all of that in the introduction. We explain all of the special features of the Israel Bible, and that we consider like a special feature because we really wanted to give Christians a Jewish perspective on the Bible, a Hebraic perspective. All of the commentary is written by Orthodox Jews, and we quote classic rabbinic commentators throughout the generations. And we also quote all of the modern Israeli leaders, like prime ministers, mayors, the poets, Zionist leaders, just again to show that the modern day state of Israel is directly connected to the ancient text of the Bible.
Now you're perfect, just so you know. I'm hearing you and seeing you perfect.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll stay here. Should I stay right here?
Where you're, yeah. Oh, and here's the other thing I want to show everybody too. Look, this is the Hebrew alphabet, everybody. Check that out. See?
There you go. We go out of our way to try to teach people Hebrew. I know a lot of our readers on Israel 365 are always interested in learning Hebrew. A lot of people tell us that's their favorite part of Israel 365. And so we're trying to do that throughout the Israel Bible as well.
Yeah. So, okay, now that we can hear you a little bit better, tell everybody a little bit more about Israel 365, because, obviously that's where they can go get this if they want it. And I actually want my listeners, viewers to get it, because if they're like me, they like, I have a lot of Bibles, but this is my very first just Old Testament Bible. This is the Israel Bible.
Oh, really? Well, that's right. I'm going to get to a place where there'll be much better internet once I know.
Okay.
Bear with me for another minute.
Uh-huh.
Be able to talk. Hold on one second. I'm just going to grab this for a second and grab this for a second. Sorry. And go into a different room and we can continue. I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry to all your viewers, but this should be a lot better. In 1 more second. Okay, how's that?
That's good.
Good. Okay. All right. So we were talking about Israel 365.
Yes.
So Israel 365 started 6 years ago. It's a daily email inspirational message, and has a photograph of Israel and a Bible verse, some videos and articles from our other website, which is called BreakingIsraelNews.com. I don't know if Stacey, did you get Breaking Israel News updates?
I do. And I wanted you to talk about that because I try to follow. I follow Jerusalem Post and other things too. But what makes yours different?
So Breaking Israel News is news with a biblical perspective. Everything that we do is actually connected to the Bible. So we connect our news stories from Israel with the Bible, and we try to not be, conservative or liberal, just biblical.
Yeah. Well, that's what I try to do at Bible News Radio.
Exactly. See, you're doing the same thing in Tennessee that we're doing here.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I actually, a couple of days ago, I was, I think it was Mayan. She sent me the thing that happened with Michelle Bachman over there, that
right.
the Bible study that you were at, that we have the video of it.
Right.
And you and Michelle were sitting next to each other. What was that like? I've actually never met her. I've interviewed a lot of people. She's one person on my wish list to interview. I've never got the chance to interview her, but I thought it was cool. You got to meet her. So what was that like?
It was very special, especially if you heard what she said. I don't know if you were able to hear what she was talking about, but she was so genuine, so sincere. And let me just, 1 second, please. I'm just going to try that. Okay. She just really repented, because she said things that many Jews found offensive, and she was so sensitive to the Jewish community, and especially just so sincere. She spoke about her heart. She apologized. She just said she's not perfect. And she was just really gracious and really humble. And so many of the Christians that I've had the pleasure to meet and work with are just incredible people. And as a Jew from Ohio, I never really grew up. It's kind of shocking perhaps, but I didn't know the Christians growing up. And the Jewish community is often a very insular community. Now, for the first time, Jews and Christians are getting together more frequently just to talk about Israel and our love for Israel, our love for the Bible. So it was great to be able to sort of share that desk, that table, that podium.
Yeah. I actually played her comments on my show yesterday. And I want you to know that I don't know if you've ever seen this book here, Thy Brother's Blood. Have you seen this book? This is The Roots of Christian Anti-Semitism. I started reading this because of another rabbi I was listening to and trying to get the history, because this is before my time, you know what I mean? And probably before yours too. So I've been trying to educate my audience about why people don't understand there has been this division between Christians and Jews, and why today this is such a big deal. Because a lot of people are like, Well, I had people, just so you know, I had people last night come into my show and completely anti-Semitic, calling me names, as a Christian who supports Jews, but I got Jewish blood, so I'm part Jewish too. So, but and I was blocking them and everything, and I'm like going, do you people even understand what you're even talking about? Because anti-Semitism is still very rampant today, unfortunately. So that's why I love what you're doing, and I love seeing Michelle there and the Garlows there, and just seeing the significance of that Bible study, which was super cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. Good. Glad you joined us for that.
I did. I actually watched the whole thing.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, next time you come, we'll have to bring you to the Knesset.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, I know we got about 10 minutes left. So, is there anything in particular, or would you like to address? I know you talk about the news from a biblical perspective, but would you like to address the violence that goes against Israel? Because what I hear, like one of the things that I've heard from people is that it's always Israel's fault, and my position is I don't think so. I think
Right.
that the enemy is trying to wipe you off the face of the earth as well as America because we support you.
Right. No, absolutely. I think that anytime, God is kind of resting his hand, we find those evil forces that are trying to stand in God's way. And we know that the Jewish people are meant to return back to our homeland throughout the Bible. It's almost the number one theme of the Bible. And like all prophecies that come to fulfillment, it's not an easy road when you're living through it. And, the Israel Bible talks about those prophecies about Israel, the future of Israel. And just like the Bible talks a lot about the redemption, so the Israel Bible highlights the role of Israel in redemption. And there's a couple of stages in the redemptive process. The first stage really is the gathering of the Jewish people physically to the land.
Yeah.
A lot of the prophets talk about that. And then the next stage really is that once that happens, once the Jews come back from the four corners of the earth, and itself will be reborn and blossom. And that's exactly what's happening today. The land of Israel was 70 years ago with nothing. They didn't have roads, they didn't have infrastructure, they had nothing. Is now like a major player in the whole world economy. We're exporting agriculture all over the world today. That's sort of the second stage. And then the third stage is that once the people come back, once the land comes back, then the relationship with God in the world will also strengthen and be sort of revitalized to some extent as well. And all three of those stages are happening today, thank God. And Israel is the apple of God's eye. Israel is the land that God's eyes are on from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. That's sort of our foundation scripture at Israel 365. And then it says that Jerusalem will be a city on the hill that the nations of the world will stream to, and they will say, "Come, teach us the Torah. Come, teach us the word of God, because from Zion shall the word, from Jerusalem will come forth the instructions." And so that's sort of what drives me. That's very much what is what's behind the Israel Bible. And for those of your listeners and your viewers who are interested in kind of understanding the Jewish roots of their Christian faith and understanding what the Bible from a Jewish perspective looks like, and that is what the Israel Bible is really all about. And we have an amazing website. It's all available for free, actually. We have videos, we have maps, all kinds of great resources at theisraelbible.com. And
seriously, how thick it is.
Yeah, no, thank you. And the book is available on Amazon, so I really hope that people read it. And people feel free to ask us questions. We get readers' questions all the time. We love answering them. And
Yeah,
it's just like a special time that we're in.
there's the bag.
Yeah, honoring the God, the people, the land of Israel.
Very cool.
It's a special time that we're living in, where the Bible, which has been the source of discord and division between Jews and Christians. You have the New Testament and we have the Old Testament. Now the source of unity between Jews and Christians. We're all coming together and reading the book together, and it's just a privilege to be involved in that. And we're living in exciting times.
I think we are. So the big debate then, and it is kind of the joke between Jews and Christians, is when if Jesus comes back again, it'll be like, will it be the first time or the second time, right? Is that the big debate?
Right, that's like the big joke that we say that, like Jews and Christians have so much that we can agree on. There's so much that we have in common, and even the Messiah is the one thing that seems to divide us. But that also is not really true. We're both eager for the arrival of the Messiah. We're both going to be there waiting for him in Jerusalem. You have to ask him if it's your first time here or your second time here. Either way, we all want we call the Messiah Mashiach. The Jewish people, we say in our prayers that I believe with perfect faith in the coming of the Messiah, and every day we wait for Mashiach's arrival. So that's a very Jewish concept, and Mashiach really just means from a Jewish perspective, it will be an era of peace. It will be a time of this great clarity and connection to God. It will be just a time for rejoicing and happiness. So I think that's something that Jews and Christians agree on. And I think that's just so important that after centuries of animosity and Semitism, we all need to just kind of get together and focus more on what divides us and on what unites us and what divides us. And that, of course, is our love for God and our love for the Bible.
Amen. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being my guest, because you're my first guest from Israel, just so you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of great people I'd love to introduce you to, and it would be great to just sort of strengthen our connection, Stacey, and your listeners, help plug them into what's going on in Israel. We just had a group that was here in the land for the last week, and for many of them, in Israel, it's just Israel changes people's lives. This is the sort of blessing God says. Bless those who bless Israel. So obviously, coming here in person is great, but if you can't make it in person, just praying for the peace of Jerusalem.
That's right.
Super important, and just kind of staying up to date with the news from Israel. Kind of not buying into the fake news that unfortunately the mainstream media approach to the news maybe refer to violence that's happening here. So that's something that is important. People should be aware of the truth when it comes to Israel. And so it would be great to just kind of continue to stay in touch with each other.
Yeah, I definitely want to, because that's what I'm about. In fact, most of my audience, we talk about Israel all the time. We had Doug Hershey on a couple of days ago. Have you seen this new book?
I think I wrote the introduction to that book.
Yeah, you did? Okay. Well, then you know about it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we just talked to him a few days ago. On Friday.
You there?
I'm here.
You there?
I'm here. Your camera went off.
I was so excited. What happened here? I don't know what happened. I did something.
I think
But,
you accidentally shut the camera off.
well, okay. It's too bad because I just grabbed my Israel Rising book. Do you know how to get my camera back on?
Yeah, there it is. It's back.
Here. See, I was so excited to jump up and to show you my copy of Israel Rising. There you go.
Yeah, isn't this an awesome book? I love this book. So.
It's really gorgeous. You did a great job, and yeah, there's a lot of creativity here, and great people like Doug Krushi who come here, and just fall in love with the
man. Yeah, it's very cool. Well, we will then. The next time we do this, I'll have this worked out a little bit better. How's that sound?
Yeah. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but
that's all right.
Really nice to speak with you. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing everything that you do, and and you can know that I always pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and we're here, definitely here. That's the end.
Sorry.
Okay, on.
You're on.
Okay, so as I stated before, a lot of that was really horrible audio. But at least you got to see his face, right? And he doesn't look like a rabbi, does he? Mm-hmm. Yep. See, you were probably expecting a rabbi like Model Ballston when we have him on. But hopefully those of you who stuck through it and you were able to hear most of it, hopefully you got something out of that interview. I did. I think the main thing I want you guys to know is that the history between the Jews and the Christians, God is totally healing, and He is healing the breach. I held up this book during the interview. It's called "Thy Brother's Blood: The Roots of Christian Anti-Semitism," and this book actually was basically more or less banned by people because they basically buried the history of the Christian church. And unfortunately, and I'm just saying what it is, a lot of it comes through the Catholic faith, and then it went into Luther and some others who are really prominent, who basically are anti-Semitic. And so, Christians in their ignorance did persecute the Jews. And if you go to Israel, one of the places that you'll see is the Holocaust Museum. And there's a whole wing in there about the Christian persecution of Jews. And when I say Christian persecution, these are well-meaning people who call themselves Christians, but I don't think by any means really are, because real Christians won't do that, in my opinion, because, and yet there's very deadly theology. It's called Reformed theology, which totally misinterprets the whole Old Testament and parts of the New Testament to say that the church has replaced Israel, and that's not true either. And so that's why understanding the Hebrew roots of your Christian faith, or the Jewish roots, if you want to use the word Jewish and Hebrew, kind of, flip-flop, it means the same thing. If you want to understand the Jewish roots of your faith, then that's why we recommend, and we're very thankful for Ariel Ministries, which is a Messianic Jewish ministry that sponsors our show. You can save 20% on anything when you go to Ariel's website. In fact, Dr. Arnold Fruchtenbaum is a Messianic Jewish believer, meaning that he is a Jewish follower of Yeshua. He believes Jesus is his Messiah. Rabbi Tooley, who's just on, he doesn't believe that Jesus is his Messiah yet. Who knows? He might in the future. I hope. And what we were talking about at the end was the big debate between some Jews, they have rejected Yeshua, which is, if you read the New Testament, you kind of understand this. But the thing is that rejection has allowed for the time of the Gentiles to come in, so that people who are not Jewish can receive the Messiah. And the Bible prophesies near the end of time that the Jews they'll call out to Yeshua, because they'll realize, he after all was the Messiah. So, and he is the Messiah. So I wanted to share with you Where is it? Here it is. This is one of the books. Remember last week, I think it was the last couple of weeks, we were talking about this book, The Historical and Geographical Maps of Israel and Surrounding Territories. This is the book. It's a hardcover. This is a brand new one. If you're interested in diving deep into doing some Bible studies and getting some biblical maps, this is awesome. I mean, I was going through it, and it's great. It really is. So, on the back it says, see what the land is like and whether the people who live in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many. And that's Numbers 13:18. And it says here on the back, one of the foremost authorities on the nation of Israel, Dr. Arnold G. Fruchtenbaum, is a Messianic Jewish believer and the founder and director of Ariel Ministries. He majored in historical geography of Israel at both the American School of Holy Land Studies and the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, where he lived during the Six-Day War. In 1989, he received his doctorate from New York University. Having lived in Israel for 3 years, Dr. Fruchtenbaum's intensive study of the role of Israel in God's plan of redemption and his extensive knowledge of the history and geography of the land have made him a popular speaker, much in demand at Bible conferences and schools throughout the world. Since 1971, he has conducted more than 40 extensive study tours, leading the participants through the entire land of Israel and the surrounding territories, while teaching them from a biblical, historical, and geographical perspective. Over the course of time, Dr. Fruchtenbaum developed this Bible atlas, and for decades it has been used by the participants of his study tours on their journeys through Israel and the surrounding territories. This extensive resource features 97 full-color maps of Israel, the Middle East, and the different empires that influenced the history of the Jewish people. And the maps follow the chronology of the scriptures as well as the post-biblical period and even Bible prophecy, leading the reader through a millennia of history in the context of the geography of the Middle East. So it is really good. I mean, it's super good. You know, if you want to dig deeper, then I would encourage you to get it. Because I've actually been reading this copy in, my Bible study time. So it's really, really good. So also, don't forget, this month we have Dr. Fruchtenbaum's Bible study on giving. That's absolutely free. If you go to my website, BibleNewsRadio.com, on the resources page, you can download that and just download it. It's 25 pages, right? Something
That's correct.
Yeah, and you can do that. And of course, the eschatology of the doctrine of the last days. So if you're into end times Bible prophecy, Dr. Fruchtenbaum's stuff is the best. And pretty much all the scholars out there, all the biblical scholars out there, who understand the Bible in the context in which it's written, they consider Dr. Arnold Fruchtenbaum, one of the top-notch scholars in the world. So you can't go wrong with his teaching. Just saying. You really can't. And tomorrow, no, maybe not. I will be showing you Israelology, the Missing Link in Systematic Theology, and also his other book, In the Footsteps of the Messiah, which is his whole study on the book of Revelation. And so you can see what they look like when you decide to go get that stuff. All right. What was the other thing? Bullhorn. If you guys are not on Bullhorn yet, please go over to getbullhorn.com and download it, and then follow me at Bible News Radio or Stacy Lynn Harp there on Bullhorn. You'll get a daily question of the day, and we're studying the book of 2 Timothy right now. I am, although I didn't do it today because I had to get up early and talk to the guy from Israel. But if you do that, you can join us, and also you can begin to gather a community of people around you and use this app to share the gospel, prayer requests. If you're an activist, a whole bunch of different things you can use this app for. And they're going to be upgrading it in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be even better. And hopefully they will be making it international. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I did tell them that that's been a request. So just be on the lookout for that. So now I want to do is I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the news of the day that's out there, because there's a ton of news. tomorrow and Thursday. I think Thursday. Wait, maybe not. I think I have a guest Thursday. I do. Okay, good. I've had a couple of people cancel and reschedule, so I wanted to make sure. So tomorrow and Thursday, I actually have guests, so I won't be able to get to some of the news, other news Friday, but I wanted to read you a couple headlines. This was a surprising headline. Lindsey Graham over on Mediaite.com says here, Lindsey Graham says, if you have a problem with Jerusalem as the Israeli capital, take it up with God. You don't have to worry about the video. This says here, Senator Lindsey Graham, who is a Republican, took on opponents of the U.S. moving its embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, saying, if you have a problem with Jerusalem being the capital of Israel, take it up with God, people. Graham was one of the several senators who attended the opening ceremony Monday morning. Fox News host Harris Faulkner asked the South Carolina Republican if he ever thought he would see the day that the U.S. would move its embassy to Jerusalem, a move that several presidents before President Donald Trump had promised, but never carried through. And says, I voted for this in 1995 when I was a freshman member of Congress. There is no nation on earth that provides us with better intelligence about radical Islam than Israel. There is nobody that tells us more about Iran than Israel. So Israel makes us safer, and the least we can do is recognize their capital. If you have a problem with Jerusalem being the capital of Israel, take it up with God, Graham added. And I'll just say that I don't need to read the rest. But I just thought that was good, because this guy has not been known to be what we call a hawk. He's more of a wimp and a rhino, Republican name only. So it's actually nice to actually see Lindsey Graham with a little bit of a backbone when it comes to standing up for Israel. So I wanted to highlight that just because I could. All right. So there's some other news going on. Today there's a rally going on up there in Sacramento about AB. I got to get the right number before I forget it. AB, hold on just a second. Wait for it. 2943. This is the bill basically they want to ban conversion therapy, and the language in the bill basically says, that more or less that you can't quote the Bible and all this stuff. And so there's this big, huge controversy about the bill, whole bunch of lies from the lying media about it. And so there's people up there in Sacramento who are lobbying against this bill, which is exactly what we want. However, being the prophet of doom that I am, I think it will be a miracle, honestly, if this bill does not get passed, because the overwhelming support for it and the essential snoozing of the people of California saying, oh, I don't really care. There are some people who are lobbying against it, but frankly, the Democrats in California, most of them are Marxists, and they don't really give a rip about what people think. If this thing passed, it will gag your Christian speech. And as I've said before, this is about a battle between special rights for the LGBT activist community and religious freedom for Christians or anybody who believes in the Bible and what the Bible says about homosexuality.
Now, when you say overwhelming support, I take it that you mean within the halls of the California legislature, not the citizens of California.
Not the citizens, but those who voted for it. It was overwhelmingly passed up there by the people in office, which is not a good thing. It's just not. But there are Christian churches like Jack Hibbs Church in Chino Hills, Calvary Chapel Chino Hills, or Calvary Chapel Chino, who have been out there kind of on the front lines saying, hey, everybody, this is what's going on. We need to wake up. Or, the Bible could be banned in California when it comes to this topic. And, there are people out there saying that that's not the case. It is the case. Unless you want to call the lawyers who are looking at this document liars. And the truth is, it is the case. They are going after Christians' religious freedom, and anybody who stands up against the homosexual agenda and the lobby of the gay agenda, there's hell to pay. You're either going to lose your job or you're going to go to prison. Okay? I mean, and I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious. And you know what? I have to tell you that if you don't think the Bible is under attack in America, I want to show you this next story. This is over on the Washington Post, or as Janet Parshall refers to it, the Washington Compost. It's titled, When a University of Virginia alumnus read his Bible on the steps of the rotunda, the school called the police. Now, think about this just before I even get into the story. Think about this for a minute. America was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. The Puritans left England because their government was oppressing them and their religious freedom, essentially. I mean, this is bare bones history. And so they came here to America, the Puritans did, and basically we established America, where God, the Bible, was actually not only used in the courtroom, also the basis of our government, but also was actually the first school textbook in America, where there was prayer and everything. I mean, all the things that happened in America over the last 40, 50 years has been constructed by those who hate God, okay? I'm just going to say it that way. And so here, now you have an alumnus of this university where he paid for his college education, going to this campus and standing on campus property, deciding that he actually wants to read the Bible, and what happens is crazy. And actually, I don't know if you can play the video, because if you can, that would be awesome. I know it might take a minute. Is that
give
possible?
it a shot.
Okay, so while Randall's setting up the video, I'm going to read the text of the article. It says here, when a University of Virginia alumnus read aloud from his Bible on the steps of the school's rotunda this week, university police came to silence him. A police officer approached Bruce Kaufman as he read from Isaiah chapter 40 to explain that such activity is no longer allowed. Therefore, by saying that, it used to be allowed at the public university. Even if he had sought permission in advance, the rotunda is not one of the places the university has designated for public speech by outsiders. Kaufman had come to campus because his daughter had just finished her sophomore year. He took his Bible with him to challenge the school's new policy limiting speech by outsiders on campus. To say a single alumnus or group of alumni cannot gather anywhere on the grounds of the university to speak, Kaufman said, that seems like an overreaction to ensure a safe environment for students. I want the school to keep being a school that says free speech is important, especially a university founded by Thomas Jefferson. Freedom of speech has recently loomed as an issue at campuses across the country, but it is especially fraught at University of Virginia, where several hundred white supremacists and white nationalists marched in August across the school's lawn and at the rotunda with torches and chanted, "Jews will not replace us." It was the beginning of a weekend of violence in Charlottesville that turned deadly and sent shockwaves across the world. It shocked Kaufman, a 1989 graduate of this university who teaches at the University of Pennsylvania School of Engineering and Applied Science. He was at the beach with his daughter August 11th when she began getting photos on her phone sent by friends. Julia, Kaufman thought of Kristallnacht, when Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues were pillaged in Nazi Germany and elsewhere in 1938, and she thought of the KKK. It was terrifying, disgusting, and revolting, she said. But last week, when Bruce Kaufman read University of Virginia's new rules crafted in the months after the white supremacist rally, he was concerned. Teresa Sullivan, the university's president, wrote to the campus community last week, quote, "The University of Virginia is committed to the constitutional principle of free speech and to the safety and security of every member of this community. The university has issued a revised policy regarding the time, place, and manner of expressive activity by unaffiliated persons meeting outdoors." And then it says here, the university's definition of unaffiliated people includes alumni. Now, I don't know about you, but if I were to go down to my colleges where I graduated, like say Vanguard University of Southern California where I got my master's, if I went down there and I wanted to read the Bible on that Christian campus and all of a sudden they told me I couldn't because I'm an unaffiliated person, I'd be like, excuse me, because I graduated here in 2005 and this is a Christian college. You're now telling me I can't read the Bible? I mean, seriously? I mean, So anyway, it goes on and on, but I think Randall has the video ready, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and pay attention to this, because this is the campus police that was called, and the conversation is very, very interesting. And this, you guys, is seriously the beginning, and it's been happening for a while, but it's the continuation of the banning of the Bible being read in America where it used to be okay.
Right?
Can you start back at the beginning?
Shaking a little bit.
I get nervous. I don't do like weird confrontation well, but yeah, you're good. We're good.
All right. So it's a new policy in place.
Okay.
All right. It's use of facilities on the university property and limits direct solicitation and advertising.
And we said that includes reading the Bible aloud.
Apparently.
Okay.
Reasons for the policy. The University of Virginia is a community in which it ideals freedom of inquiry and thought and expression are respected and sustained. The university is committed to supporting the exercise of constitutional protected expression at the university-controlled facility and property while maintaining a safe atmosphere free from disruption. The university has established requirements for use of the facilities and property. So essentially, they've established a guideline in order for you to come do this.
Okay. But I'm allowed to do this if I get a permit, because I didn't see the lawn on the list of places I'm allowed to talk.
Well, they've told me to come talk to you, so this is going to be something that you can definitely hash out with authorities higher than I. I'm just the messenger.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So focus on it's focus on a mission and provide a safe environment and preserve the aesthetics of grounds. Affiliated persons. So essentially, it's the definition of affiliated persons. What they're saying is you're unaffiliated.
Right. I'm an alumnus, class of 1989.
There we go. So maybe that changes everything.
No, it doesn't. I'm not affiliated.
Ah, okay. So you've inquired about this.
I did. Oh, yeah, I did,
All
yeah.
right. Trust me, I see what you're doing, and I don't really blame you for trying to test the limits of this thing.
Okay. So can I just ask a practical question?
Absolutely.
If I see someone else,
I really don't want to read this whole
if I see someone else reading from the Bible, is it an appropriate response for me to call the university police?
See, I don't know. I guess that's a personal thing. If you think.
What about if I see somebody wearing a MAGA hat? Is that a political expression that would
Make
become
America
those
great
policies?
again. That's what that means.
That's a great question. These are all things that general counsel is going to have to distinguish what they.
Okay. So my daughter's also a student here.
Okay.
If she sees somebody reading the Bible, would she be in the right to call the university police? It seems like a waste of your time to me, but I want to...
Well, so I've never told anyone calling the police is a waste of time.
Okay.
I've said if they've ever needed to call the police, we're here for that.
So she won't get in trouble if she does
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, this is why I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I don't want to have to do this, but it's a new policy that they're telling that we have to enforce.
I understand.
And you did your due diligence by kind of giving us the heads up, saying, I'm going to do this.
Right.
So here I am
Okay.
doing my part.
You have backup, too. I like that. That's
Yeah,
good.
he's here. He has a
I'm good. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
So, you already know the policy and the guidelines for getting the permission to do what you're doing.
Right.
So,
It's not possible to do what I'm doing under those guidelines. You have to be somewhere else. This is obviously the spot. If you look around the lawn, this is the place where
this
students
is one of the
gather.
spots that they're not going to allow this type of thing.
Yeah, under no circumstances can alumni speak in this
So-
spot, which seems kind of nuts to me. But
Yeah, it's going to be something that's going to have to be hashed out, and things like this are going to be the propellant to kind of get that moving.
okay, well, I appreciate it.
Do it, so I'm sure they would let you. You just need to go to the right chain of command and talk to the right people and get the permission.
Okay,
If you
the website implies that's not the case, but I hope it is the case.
yeah, I mean, you can talk to the, we're not the people that have to
No,
ask
obviously,
about
right,
this.
right.
Obviously, we just have to enforce
I
it.
concur with you how it's phrased. Sounds like it's not possible.
Right.
But again, I think
It's worth a shot.
a little bit of rapport. No, yes, I think so.
I like to think so.
So, I've been told to ask you. You can move to the sidewalk. You can
Yeah.
move to somewhere else.
Oh, I'm done.
You're done,
I just
okay.
wanted a video of you telling me I can't read the Bible on the steps of the lawn. If that's the
Fantastic.
university's policy, then we're
Absolutely.
like that's what you're telling me is the policy. Then we're all set.
Well then, sir, here.
Okay, so just remember the context. Okay, this is why I exist, to help you remember context. Okay, so remember the context. The context was that white supremacists and the KKK decided that they were going to commit violence against Jews. Okay, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Christians are being banned from reading the Bible. So the backhanded association here is that the KKK, white supremacists, equal Christian. Okay? Don't miss it. because that's what they're doing. They're trying to lump us all to the same category. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a genuine, actual, real hate group, actually is lumping pretty much Christians and the white supremacists, the KKK, etc., all into the same category, thereby vilifying Christians and Christianity, which completely, if you're really a born-again, Bible-believing Christian, you are the antithesis. You're the exact opposite of what they're claiming. And this guy, honestly, the dad there, you know, if I was him, I'd be really ticked. First of all, I'm giving money to this university to have my kid go there because I went there. And second of all, here he is, his First Amendment rights are being violated. Because I don't know about you, but I think the First Amendment trumps school campus policy. But I don't know, Randall, what do you think?
I think we need to be wrapping this up. It'll, you know, if this is the new university, this is the new policy of the university, I would like to see it, you know, upheld consistently, i.e.,
if they read the Quran.
Yeah, or somebody else just non-affiliated, you know, comes, his campus starts reading something, they're doing something, they're saying anything, even holding up a sign or wearing a hat, like you said, everything that might be deemed, you know, well, this just unsanctioned university, you know, event that then they have to shut that down as well.
Yeah, but it's specifically targeted at Christians and Jews. I mean, if you think about it, I guarantee it, I would bet dollars, I would literally bet dollars, that if an imam had decided to do the exact same thing, read from the Quran in that space, the campus police would not have been called to get him off. They would have been called to protect him.
Yeah, well,
I guarantee it.
Well,
because that's how they're Islamicizing America, sure. And that's how they're basically shutting down the free speech of Christians. And you know, Magnus, you're right. This is the beginning of the end. It's been starting here for quite some time. This is a concerted effort within the media and the political world to silence Christians. I keep telling you, I'm telling you, pay attention. The gay lobby, that's their goal. And if this thing passes in California, Christians in California, you're going to have to make a choice. And I know our show's almost up, but let me just say this. If this does pass, I asked a question yesterday. If the Bible is outlawed in America, would you still read it? Would you still have one? Or would you just comply and be quiet? I guarantee, and I predict, because I'm a prophet of doom. I'm a cute one, I admit. I have great hair. But I guarantee the overwhelming majority will comply with the law and they'll silence themselves because they've already done it. Most pastors are wimps. They won't even preach out of Romans chapter 1 or Leviticus chapter 18, which calls homosexuality an abomination. Most pastors are wimps, and they won't stand up and defend marriage the way God defined it as one man and one woman. If your pastor won't stand up for that, get out of that church, because they're a wimp, right? Because when Islam comes in and decides they're going to kill the pastor or anybody that stands up for Jesus, guess what? You're dead. Yeah, or you lay over and basically go, okay, I'm a Marxist Christian and blah, blah, blah. All that. So anyway, I could go on. Maybe Friday. All right, so tomorrow I have a guest. We're going to talk about something more lighthearted, like worry. Do you ever worry in your life? Well, yeah, you probably do. So my guest tomorrow is going to address that topic with her book about worry. So I hope you join us at our same time, 4 o'clock. Don't forget, join me over on BibleNewsRadio.com. Join our email list. And as I always say, be bold, people. Stand up, people. And go with God, people. Ultimately, because he loves you. He does. So you don't have to be a chicken or anything. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow.